Hello everybody, welcome into the Hobby Bar. This is Jason, and welcome. Today we'll be continuing on these guys, the Iconward, Primus, and Nexos that we started last time. Again, the main idea is to get Iconward done, just because I got a couple other of these guys and I definitely want to get at least one of them done. But figured while we're at it we can get the other two done again. Trying something a bit different, doing recording audio with the intro this time, so that's why it might sound a bit different. But anyway, if you do any hobbying, feel free to jump in, join along, get some stuff done during this time, and if not, hey, that's cool too. I appreciate you swinging by, checking it out. Hopefully you have a good time and get some stuff done yourself. But with that, we'll go ahead and get tucked into these three. Alrighty, first up for today is going to be some Cuttlefish Colors Blue Wash. I wanted to use this over the robes here on the Iconward because I didn't want to knock them all the way down to a really dark blue, like what probably would happen if I used Citadel's Draconoff Nightshade. One thing with the Cuttlefish Colors washes I've noticed, they tend to be a little bit brighter or more like the color they say than one of the shade paints would be from Citadel, or even the quick shades from Army Painter and otherwise. So in a way I guess you could say they're like an ink, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to work with them. They tend to lightly tint things, so wanted to use that on the robes though, and on the blue areas on these guys too, just to help build up that blue color on these guys a bit better, as well as get into the recesses. And then on the Iconward, since it has a different colored robe, figured it would be a nice little wash to put over everything, and I do like how it ended up after everything dried. So go ahead and we do this over all three of them for the blue areas, and then catch up with you shortly for the next paint. Bit on the admin side. I forgot to mention it when I was doing the voice recording with the intro, trying that out, but don't forget to start up your own music. Just makes it easier, because then you can listen to whatever you want while hobbying, which tends to be what I would guess most people do anyway. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch up with y'all here shortly for the next paint. Next up, we're moving on to Citadel's Reikland Fleshshade. Doing this over all of the yellow areas. I could have used a orange wash or something like that from the Cuttlefish color stuff, but I wanted to just go with the Citadel standard of Reikland Fleshshade over yellow. Just because it tends to work out really well for building up the color, and I tend to like what it does for the effect. Even though it's more of a reddish brownish color, it works really well for shading yellow, like Aerial Yellow. It works on the gold, it works on Averland Sunset, which is what we have over the white base coat, so I just wanted to go with that, keep it simple, instead of busting out like Army Painter Quick Shade or one of the other flesh tones or orange color from Cuttlefish Colors. Figure just go with the classic Reikland Fleshshade here. But yeah, we go ahead and add that to the gold on all three of them, the yellow areas on all three of these guys. So go ahead and get that process knocked out, and I'll catch up with y'all here shortly for the next paint. Alrighty, here we are busting out the Citadel Contrast Aethermatic Blue. I want to use this for the sort of hologram table here. I'll probably recolor the arrows on it anyway, so that's why I figured we can go ahead and use the Aethermatic Blue on it. Just to sort of get that projection energy sort of color going. Next, we move on to Citadel Magos Purple. I want to use Magos Purple on all of the sort of Genestealery skin color. Then that was just Daemonette hide on it before for these areas. So I wanted to go over it with Magos Purple because it's a contrast paint, so it will tint the color a little bit as well as settle in the recesses, but mostly it's not as strong as Juki Violet, which I've also used before. That is a very strong wash from my experience with it. So I didn't really want to thin down and do all that stuff over all three of these guys, so figured, just Magos Purple is fine. I do go over the Nexos' skin as well with the Magos Purple. Just because I wanted to tint him purple. We'll go back and fix that up later with getting it back to a slightly more human-ish color. And that'll be fun to work on. But yeah, we'll go over all three of these guys with the Magos Purple here. Just get their skin tone knocked down into this sort of alien purpley region. And yeah, that'll be that contrast paint. Alrighty, here we are busting out the Army Painter Quick Shade Dark Tone. Wanted to go back over the armored areas here on the mini with Dark Tone, just because I feel like the thinned down Abaddon Black last time still left it a little gray, so I kind of wanted to build up that really dark armor before we sort of come back and dry brush over it to make it look metallic and like miner's armor. Even though it kind of is shitty armor, all things considered. But, yeah, go ahead and do that process over it, as well as the gun. It was kind of obvious here on video that the autofocus was on, and I didn't realize it for the longest time, so I do apologize about that. I do notice it before the end of recording, but, was trying out something different with recording audio with the intro hand motions at the same time. So hopefully that works out better, but need to remember next time to turn off the autofocus when I do that. But yeah, back to Dark Tone. It's sort of it's sort of like a stronger contrast paint. I guess you could say it's similar in vein to the really dark black one. I forget what it's called offhand. Or, maybe a bit stronger than Null Oil, maybe? But yeah, that's basically how it'll go on for the dark tone from how I used it. I did notice that after mixing it up a bit more using the vortex mixer I have, it doesn't go on glossy anymore. That was an initial problem I had, was it would dry glossy for whatever reason. But after vortexing it up, it seems to work fine. So maybe it was just not mixed enough when it was going on glossy. But anyway, we'll finish up here, adding the dark tone to the Primus now, the third guy that needs it. And I'll catch up with you all here shortly for the next paint. Alrighty, here we are busting out Cephalopod Studios Nightengale Purple. Kind of wanted to use this as an overbrush of the skin, because the skin tone was at this point kind of fairly in the very purpley range, and I was tempted to use one of the other purple grays, but I wanted to try this one out, Nightengale Purple, since it's kind of a lighter purple, and I guess you could say maybe a lilac-ish? I don't know. I'm bad with color names, in all honesty. But sort of that desaturated purple color. I wanted to use that as a highlight color on it. And kinda wanted to try it out with the cuttlefish colors, because as I've said before, it tends to go on thinner, so it's very good for layering up and blending and all that fun stuff. So I wanted to give it a shot on these guys, see how well it would turn out after it dried. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. I do sort of drag the brush across my nail. They're a little harsher to try to flatten out the bristles a bit after I load it with paint. So there's that going on too. But yeah, otherwise pretty happy with how this process went. So just gonna truck on doing that with all three of them. So there, finally fixed the focus thing. But yeah, we'll tuck into getting it finished up on these other two, who have less skin showing thankfully, and then I'll catch up with you all here shortly for the next paint. Alrighty, here we are busting out some Cephalopod Studios Sunflower Yellow. For Sunflower Yellow, I also wanted to do it with the Cephalopod Studios paint instead of Citadel paint on this guy, because I kind of wanted it to, again, be thinned down without me having to really do too much tinkering with it, adding too much medium and all that. So I was just like, we'll just grab Sunflower Yellow and go over the banner with it. Could achieve the effect a lot faster if I used Aerial Yellow, which was my initial intention. And I was like, oh, could do Aerial Yellow, but could also play a little more with the Cuttlefish Colors paints and get more used to doing it that way. Because kind of need to start improving my painting a bit more. I've been doing it the old Citadel method way for quite a while, and well, it's tried and true and it gets the job done. Want to improve the appearance just a little bit, and adding medium every time, kind of a bit of a pain, though I guess one could argue that it also helps, since even though it's a pain, you won't get better at adding the right amount of medium unless you constantly do it, right? So, bit of two schools of thought on it, and I'm not sure which one I want to fall into. But anyway, we'll go ahead and use this to basically get back to where I want the yellow to be for the mid tone. And leave the recesses the shade painted Averland Sunset with Reikland over it. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do this process on the yellow for all three of them. Minimal yellow on the Nexos, so it's mostly on the battery pack thing that powers the hologram table there. But we'll hit the yellow on all three of them with the Sunflower Yellow here from Cephalopod Studios. And yeah, we'll tuck into that for quite a bit. There's quite a bit of yellow area on this guy and the other guy. But yeah, we'll continue doing this process, and I'll catch up with you here shortly for the next paint. Alrighty, here we are busting out good old Citadel Leadbelcher. Wanted to use this and basically hit the blades there on the banner. This way, those are metal, good to go, ready for doing whatever we want to do to them. I might make them sort of magically purple, add some Magos Purple to them or something, and then come back in and re-highlight it with metal. Just to sort of tie that color in with the rest of it. Or it can be magical. I don't know. We'll figure it out next time. Like every time when you can't figure out the color, we'll figure it out next time when we get to it. But yeah. We'll go ahead and do that on these cross beams. And then I do want to use some of it on the armor, just to sort of pick out the ribbing areas and get those back to being, or those up to a metallic. I don't really care if the recess is metallic so much as the edges and the top parts of it. So basically be doing an overbrush of Leadbelcher. Trying to keep it thin though, so this way it's not too strong. And I don't really dry it out, so it's not a dry brush, so unless it dries on the brush instead, in which case maybe it is dry brushing, but I do only use a little bit, and I would say it's still more overbrushing, but could be potentially dry brushing depending on how you look at it. But yeah, we use that process for the armor, and I think I add a little bit to the pistol for the Iconward, because I wanted some parts of that to be metal, but similar in vein to the armor metal on them. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do that process on these three. This process does take a little bit, so go ahead and let that roll. We do also add it to the outer rim of the hologram table on the Nexos. Don't think I hit anywhere else with it on the Primus. So yeah, we'll go ahead and finish up this process with the Leadbelcher though on these three guys. I'll catch up with y'all here in a little while for the last call. Alrighty, last call everybody, last call. So, for today's last call, nothing really too special. Just giving them a spin, seeing how they're going. Yeah, pretty happy with the progress so far. 2 weeks in on 3 different duders. Not sure what I want to do for the banner symbol, because I kind of want to pick it out a little bit better. For the Iconward, not sure if I want to change it to a purple or a blue, or make it stand out a bit more with something else. I'll have to figure that out. And then also do a wash on the rags, effectively, on the handle, and oh boy, get all the bones and everything else going on them. But yeah, then the basing, oh boy. Can't really think of anything offhand to ask you all, but have any questions, comments, or otherwise, feel free to leave them below. You can have a chat if you'd like. But otherwise, thank you all for watching and hanging out. Hope you got some stuff done today, and I appreciate you all for swinging by. So with that, have a good one out there, everyone, and take care.